Okay. Right, next one.
Okay.
We'll do number 8, that one, shall we?
Yeah.
We'll go to number 8. We've still got miles to go. Don't start getting your bag out as if you're leaving, you know.
Actually, why don't we do some of the staff reports and force people to stay?
Victoria, James,
What?
You'll move which one, Sam?
Which one? I don't know.
Okay. Right. So we're now, excuse me everyone, we're now on item 8 and Sam has moved it and...
I'll second it.
Mark will second it.
You need to vote.
Do we... Everyone's read it, of course, cover to cover. Is there any questions? Yes, Sarah?
Just checking on the potential. Are there likely or potentially going to be any other reversals? Do we know at this stage, or do we think this is it?
Through the chair, the only other changes will be around schools, and we've got another year to enact those changes.
Okay, so we've got some schools that have gone down.
There's a couple of schools that are changing because they're on specified roads.
Yeah.
But the bigger change around schools is the reduction in the school speed zone size, which is going to be limited to what's the distance? 300 metres
total, isn't it?
Around the school gate. But we have another year to do that, whereas this first round of changes we need to get done this year.
Okay, and so when do we expect will that be like early next year or something? We'll get a report on increasing speeds around schools?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, thanks.
It won't, just through the chair, that won't be increasing speeds outside of those schools. It will only be adding variable speed limits outside of those other schools.
Oh, so that's what I was checking. So there's no schools that have already been lowered that are going to have to go to variable?
Other than the ones in this report currently.
Yeah,
No.
No, oh, that's good. Yeah, that's what I was checking.
Okay, Tyler?
Little public knowledge one. So we can't change the speed limits accordingly, right? It's all central government mandated. Correct. Thank you. And just on the basis of the revocations and the new school variable speed limits, what was the work done from staff in regards to the certain projects that you've lined up, and how many more are left?
Other than, like I said, this piece of work is more just around the specified roads, not the school speed limits.
Yep.
There's a couple of schools that are included in this list, but all the work around the school speed limits and the determining where the school gate is and the size in the school speed zone, that's yet to happen.
Sure. Last question was around revocations. For these roads here, I'm looking at Hay Street, Dudu Road, essentially. There was Hoon which is Rose Street, and the last one was Hunter Terrace. What was the basis for the changes?
That's you, David.
Yes. So the changes are because of the rule. So within the rule, it's all about the specified road. So in the report, it talks about the specified roads being if it's a local road that's been changed to a speed limit of 30 since 2020, and one of the reasons being a school. That's the main one. The other one is if it's an urban connector or classified as an urban connector and then has been reduced since 2020. So that's where that list has come from, is the ones that are the specified roads.
That's great for clarification. Yep. Thanks so much, guys. Cheers.
Just a question on Western Valley Road. So when the 30k was implemented, it was from the junction with the Christchurch Akaroa Road and all the way down, so quite a big distance. Why was it from that junction and not from sort of a more kind of a localised area, just sort of outside the school and the fire station there, just out of it? Yeah.
I think at the time we were trying to cover the area that school children travel on to get to school. And with Western Valley school children do travel all along that Western Valley Road, hence why we put a path in there a number of years ago to try and help facilitate that. So that's why we included the whole area.
Thank you. What was the feedback through you, Mr. Chair? Just so has there been any sort of discussion with the school around this proposed change?
No, it has not.
Right. So doing it to rather than with,
Yeah.
in a way.
So
I mean, government policy, but
Yes,
you know.
through the chair. So we will be speaking with the schools after today's meeting. We weren't going to them before your decision today.
Do we know how many traffic movements there are up Western Valley Road outside of school pick up and drop off hours? Might be difficult to answer, but it's probably a low volume road.
I could put a guess on it, but it'd be a guess, and I'd probably say no more than 300.
In a day.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's still quite a few.
through the chair, can I just add, this is, we do need to go back to all these roads have been identified because of the specified rule from government. So this isn't something that we can go and negotiate on or go in and talk to the affected parties about. We have to change it because of the legislation.
No, thanks, Lynn. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, just concerned about unintended consequences. And there are no footpaths on Western Valley Road, so pedestrians, regardless of the time of... I mean, there are some, but it's quite limited footpaths on Western Valley Road.
Through the chair, there is one on the state highway side of Western Valley Road, so that would be the, get my bearings right, probably the east side. There's a stone footpath that we put in probably about 4 or 5 years ago.
And do we know what the relative cost of like switching to a variable sign will be for that particular area?
So through the chair, it is going to a variable sign.
Yeah.
It's just going to be static, not electronic there because of the traffic volumes. You're looking between, say, 4,000 if you're just the static, whereas you're getting up to that 40,000 if you were to look to put electronics. But it is getting a static variable speed limit outside.
And is the variable time like specified, like it has to be between this and this time, or it can be a broader time range?
So through the chair, there are limits imposed on us on how long we can have the 30k in place for. But one of the resolutions you'll note is authorising the decision around changing the times to be made by the head of transport. Just because there's so many schools across the network, we don't want to be coming back to you as full council every time we need to change those times to accommodate a school. Just to answer more accurately your previous question, Councillor, about the traffic volumes on that road. I'm just looking at the data now, and the average weekday traffic is 260 vehicles.
Okay, thank you.
Clarification 4.9.1 on page 76. Do nothing. So if we don't agree with this, non-compliance of the rule by council creates a risk that the New Zealand Transport Agency or Waka Kotahi can issue a direction for the council to comply. Should the council, as an RCA, Road Controlling Authority, not comply with directions, then under section 9.1 of the rule, the agency may exercise the power of the Road Controlling Authority to do so. But we are the Road Controlling Authority.
Yes, and sorry, through the chair, yes, but the legislation allows the agency to act as the road controlling authority on local roads if we don't comply with the rule.
Okay, that explains that. And the other question I have is the agency may exercise the power. So what confidence do you have that they will, or will they maybe respect our decision?
Through the chair, I can't answer on behalf of an NZTA on that, unfortunately.
No, none of us can.
Thank you.
That's going to be my question. Kia ora, guys. First one's around the school hours, and I know that you pragmatically entered that in getting the head of transport to sort of delegate the speed times with the variable times within the schools. We provided feedback from memory a while back. Was that to government? And did they listen to anything?
We did, through the chair, we did provide a response to the consultation when this rule was consulted on. I'm not sure whether they did take on any of that feedback. I can't confirm solidly, but the rule is, what's been published in the rule is quite similar to what they consulted on. So there wasn't much change.
Okay. And just going off the report, it states School travel periods must occur only on days on which the school is open for instruction. Is that time bound? So, for example, if the school is instructing Monday to Friday, and say their last lesson is at 3:15 p.m, are we able to set a variable time after that for extracurricular activities?
Yeah. So through the chair, yes, under the new rule, there is a 10-minute buffer that can be done for extracurricular stuff. Yep, 10 minutes is all their rule allows. It is timed out, that it very much talks about what a school day is, that it's a pick up and drop off time, that it is around those bell times. So if there is anything at 5 p.m, 6 p.m, and that's outside of the school times, there's only a 10-minute buffer that those are able to be used.
What if lunch hasn't arrived by then?
Okay, yeah, so last one, sorry, Mr. Mayor, is if we turn this down, that will leave the power to Waka Kotahi to implement and enact. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, potentially, yes.
And do they pay for it?
No. That's the,
Or do they send us the bill?
I imagine they'll send us the bill.
Yeah.
No, I'm all good. That's me. Done.
Seriously, will they pay for it? They might pay for it until the next time they come to fund a bit of roading work, and then we'll be in creek. Right. Just one question I heard you say before. Did you say standard signs around the school? And I'm assuming there's two signs, because if the school's just, and I know schools have got different entrances. If it's one road going past, one static sign, is that $4,000? They're $2,000 each, roughly, very roughly.
Approximately, yes. But that includes return to speed signs as well. So it's a total of 4 signs for that.
Roger. But if you use the variable one, it's $40,000 for the same setup.
Through the chair. Correct.
Yeah. And are we, and this is a bit I don't understand, are we forced to use the variable ones or not? Can we get away with the going forward?
Through the chair, under the traffic control devices rule, yes, in certain situations we are required to use the electronic speed signs on the likes of urban connectors. So roads that are looking above 10,000 vehicles a day is when we are using those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Further to that, Chair, when we come to you to present the options around what we do around schools, we'll have all that information available to you for that. Because that is likely to be a much larger impact than what we've got in front of you today.
Good, thank you. Sorry, right. Yanni, Tyrone and Tim.
Do we know the number of infringements on these roads that we're reversing? Like, do we know how many people have been infringed for speeding?
Through the chair, we don't have that information to hand.
Right. And how do we liaise with the police around what they're doing in regards to enforcement?
We through the chair, at the moment, we haven't been specifically engaging on that with the police.
Right. Okay.
What we do is if we get complaints of speeding, we do always refer those on to the police.
Yeah. So out of the ones that we're reversing on the urban collectors, I know at least one has been problematic, which is the Gloucester Street one. Yeah. I mean, residents have contacted council. Have you had complaints about the other ones, or are they just a product of the rule?
I don't think we've had complaints about the others. I think we may have had a couple about the ones on Colombo Street. Yeah. Other than that, we haven't had any.
Okay, thanks, mate. Right, we've got 2 left, Tyrone and Tim.
Kia ora. So just with regard to the signs themselves, like flashing versus static. So even the feedback that I've got, even from those that oppose the 30k reduction, might say, well, why can't we have the flashing signs like they have in the city, like in Taitapu? Why not? And how does that get decided?
A lot of that will come down to cost. There are provisions in the TCD rule that dictate where we can use the non-flashing signs. And ultimately, a lot of it will come down to cost. And that's what we'll present to you when we bring the school package of speed changes to you.
Oh, so that decision will come back to council?
Yes.
Okay.
Excellent. Thanks, mate. And lastly, Tim.
Thank you. The two the kind of different, the Rose Street one for Kashmir High, which commenced at the intersection of Rose Street and Hoon Hay Road, and then all the way down to Barrington Street, the full length of Rose Street. it kind of negated having a 30k, because if you come off Hoon Hay Road and you started at 30k, you're wondering where the school was. So by the time you got to the school, most drivers were back to 50 or 60k's. So just as a lesson learnt, we've got to be more specific. With regards to St Peter's, which was the Colombo Street reduction, which was from Hunter Terrace, or the bridge, the river, through to 130 whatever metres past. It has a really good crossing now. Could it be raised, just saying. But in alignment with Thorrington School, which is a K further along, which has a really good crossing, but doesn't have any 30k reduce, I thought that would have been the place to have it. But there are some lessons learnt here, and I think we've got to be really focused on it. But I think the 40k electronic ones are definitely the way to go. Thank you.
Take that on board. Thank you.
You've got a sign shop.
You'd be surprised at what I got.
Right, okay. So I'll shut off the questions. Have we got any discussion, debate on it? Sarah?
I frequently get requests from residents for slower streets in their communities, and I've had contact recently from people who remembered the consultation we did several years ago with all the pinpoint maps and the decisions we made, and they're saying, when is my street being lowered? We submitted in favour, and you said it would be in the next tranche. So Flinders Road, those kind of places. We're now no longer able to do that for our communities. And around schools, 85% of deaths and serious injuries within 400 metres of a school happen outside of those pick-up and drop-off times, because schools aren't just about school hours. They're extracurricular, they're kids playing, and they are kids travelling to and from school. It's not just the 300 metres outside the gate. Kids don't leave their front door at home and then magically appear close to the school ready to walk the last little bit in. They travel there. And we want to enable our kids to be able to walk, bike, scoot, meander with friends, look at trees on the way, all of those things that we were able to do as kids, and they currently can't because our streets aren't safe enough and their parents won't allow them to. We have chosen as a council in the past not to meet government deadlines and to follow government legislation when it comes to density. This is not just about density and where homes go. This is about lives. And I don't know about you, but for this one, I'm not willing to be the person who says, yes, let's raise speeds and put our kids at risk. I'm not happy for Waka Kotahi to do it either, but I'm not willing to do that. And if Waka Kotahi choose to, I think that's on them.
We have Tyrone and then Tyler.
Kia ora. I mean, my kind of gut feel about all of this is that it's a whole lot of faffing around and wasting people's time for no real benefit. You know, and the whole process of shifting speed limits around. I acknowledge Sarah, Councillor Templeton's point about, you know, I mean, absolutely, utterly, it's about people's lives, and we really have to protect and defend that. That's really, really important. It's basically absolutely critical to everything that we do. That said, if I refer to Western Valley Road, which is in Little River on this list, I mean, we've got a country road with no footpaths, where there's a school, a fire station, and a public sports ground that, you know, has frequent traffic movements in and out. And I don't really think people necessarily adhere to the speed limit there anyway. And that's generally law-abiding people who do really care about their community and may not actually necessarily respect the 30 kilometre an hour speed limit. Rightly or wrongly, you know, that happens, and we kind of have to deal with that. So, I mean, ideally we would be able to just encourage better driver behaviour, encourage people to look out for our children on the roads all the time, and really just try and get a cultural change, because there does seem to be so much anger in the world about people being minorly inconvenienced, which I find troubling. But anyway, but be that as it may, I'm going to, I mean, what the feedback I've had from the community is some people think it's absolute bullshit, and some people think I absolutely have no issue for travelling for 10 seconds at a speed 20 k's lower than what it was before. You know, so you've got a mix of views. I'm troubled that the fact that the school was not consulted. Again, it's like one of those things where communities are having things done to them rather than with them. And again, the cost of doing it all is just dumb. But anyway, all that said, look, I'm happy to support it because, you know, what else do you do? Well, I just wanted a decent outcome. Reluctantly support it, but what I would say is I would like to have flashing variable signs in Little River if we can get those, and I would request my council colleagues would support that when it comes to a decision.
Okay, Tyler, and then Jake, and someone.
When this came to our table to provide some feedback to central government on these changes, I was beside myself seeing the proposed changes, and little to nothing has changed since then. Let me first start with the distance between schools and noting that 150 metres either side of a school sign is not enough. I mean, if you're even thinking about the Riccarton ward themselves, you've got Te Kapihu, who are on a main arterial on Main South Road. You've got Middleton Grange, who often have issues with traffic on Arthur Street. You've got Villa Maria, who again are on Curlitz Road. And if you even go further up, most of these schools that are in the Riccarton ward are outside either main arterials or urban connectors, of which are highly vulnerable because of the amount of traffic that goes through Riccarton. And you're having more than 45,000 car movements through Riccarton itself, and think about the foot traffic that goes through that, because not everyone's going to be picking up their kids. Secondly, so I find that absolutely abominable that we're not consulting with our schools. It's actually not us, it's central government not consulting with their schools appropriately. I think our staff have done a completely fantastic job in the way that they've had to manage the changes that central government have imposed on us. I am unwilling to vote yes on this. There's no way I can say yes to this. I don't want to have my name on something that could potentially have a lasting impact on a child, whether we have a choice on it or not. I don't care. I'd rather Waka deal with it and make the decision for us, because we've had two major injuries of school kids in Riccarton. One of them was actually just off in main arterial into a suburban street, and that child was under the car for a lot of minutes, and pedestrians had to lift the car up to take the child out. And that was going from 50, 60 kilometres an hour, turning into a suburban street with momentum and running a child over that tried to just go home from school. So again, you'll know the reason why I'm not voting on this on principality. I understand the changes that are coming across, but I don't want to have that on my ledger. Kia ora.
Right. It has, hang on a moment. Have the mover and seconder got anything that markedly want to change? Because I want to put this out. No, I'm happy. You're happy? Yeah. Because we've heard all sides of the thing, and I just want to get going. Sorry. So I won't use the word 17.15 because I don't want to wear it out. I'm going to use this a lot. So I'll put this motion. I think everyone's on the same track, and a lot of people have had their say. So I'll put this motion. All those in favour? Aye. All those against? No. Against. Okay, that's cool. So you're leaving it up to Waka Kotahi to do it. Is that what you're saying?
We're finished debate.
Yeah, division. Yeah, come on, Sam. That you get.
Okay, let's just vote. Yep.
Okay.
So this is for item 8.
No, it's going to change the minds.
So division for item 8, Councillor Kewen.
Yes.
Councillor McClellan. Councillor MacDonald.
Yes.
Councillor Moore.
Yes.
Councillor Scundrett.
I'm going to abstain because it's twice today I haven't had a chance to, an opportunity to debate.
Councillor Harrison Hunt. No. Councillor Coker.
No.
Councillor Peters.
Yes.
The Mayor.
Yep.
Councillor Templeton. No. Councillor Barber. Yes. Deputy Mayor Cotter. No. Councillor Fields.
Abstention.
Councillor Johansson.
Yes.
Councillor Donovan online.
No.
And Councillor Goff is not here, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 against and 2 abstentions.
Cool. So that's carried. Thank you. Right, moving right along. Number 10, the electric vehicle policy. I am happy to move this, and